So we are recording now, just so you guys know. It records my computer screen, not you, but it'll record your voices, just so you know. So, is everybody signed in? Our little bit.ly/WC sign in. If you're not, I think most of you are. Is everybody in our happy hour group in Schoology?
Was that where you signed in?
No. Sorry, I'm just moving through. Trying to get people who've got to leave early. If you go to the bit.ly/WC sign in, and you can just call it Nearpod Appy Hour for the meeting name. That same sign-in is also on the first page of the curriculum portal too, if it's ever easier for you to go there. It's the same thing. And if you use Twitter, you can talk about what you're learning in Appy Hour with WC Learns hashtag. And if you're not in the Schoology group, where I post like all of the resources, this presentation, everything, if you ever want to go back and look, that's the code down at the bottom. And you can also get directly to this presentation with the bit.ly/Appy Hour Nearpod link at the very top, if you want to follow along. However, you guys are going to be actually using Nearpod to follow along with me today. Everybody good? Can I jump off of this one? Okay. Did you say no? Oh. Are you going to the... Are you trying to do the sign-in page? There you go. Okay, so you guys are actually, we're going to go through this presentation, and you guys are actually going to do it through Nearpod as the student, so you can actually see what Nearpod is and kind of how it works for the students. And so to do that, you can get to it a couple of different ways. You can either go to nearpod.com and then wait for just a second until I pull it up for the actual slide to give you the code, or if you're in Schoology already and you go to our Appy Hour group, in the resources tab, there's a Nearpod folder, and you can actually click the link that says join the Nearpod for Appy Hour or whatever, and then you don't have to enter a code. But if you just go straight to Nearpod, you'll have to enter the code that I give you. Which is this. Yeah. So if you're in Schoology to get to our Nearpod, you can actually just go through our Appy Hour group and click the link that says join the Nearpod session, or if you went to nearpod.com, here's your code, YVIHP. And then it will ask you to enter your name, and then you can just kind of sit tight. No, you shouldn't have to install anything. Go back over to the first tab. And then resources. Then the Nearpod folder. And it should be that second link, access Nearpod Appy Hour. There you go. And the resources. And the Nearpod folder at the very bottom. And then that second link, access Nearpod for Appy Hour. And then you can go ahead and enter your name. Did you get the link to Appy Hour? Just make sure before I take our code off of where you guys all there that in your pod. Okay. awesome. Okay. So you guys are in, like I said, Nearpod as the students. And I think my magic clicker here battery died. So I'm going to have to be over here by the computer. But so this is Nearpod. So what I did, I made my Appy Hour presentation, same as I always do, in Google Slides. And we're going to actually install, there's a Chrome extension. So you can take any existing Google slide that you have and use this extension, and it will convert it to Nearpod for you. So then what I can do, watch your screens. I'm going to advance, and you automatically advance to the slide that I just moved you to. Okay, so here's where we're at. Now, I'm at a poll. So you guys have a poll to fill out for me. Have you ever used Nearpod before? Yes or no? And then make sure you click the blue send button in the bottom right corner. There you go. And so you should just have a thank you screen. Now, this is something that you do not have to project, obviously, right? So, like, I could just be, and this is, it does not matter what device you're on. So if kids had a phone, an iPad, whatever, this will work on any device. So if I don't have to be projecting this. We can sit in a circle, we can be having a conversation. Now, watch your screen. So imagine that I'm not projecting this, so you're not seeing the results up here.
It is Appy Hour.
Watch your screen. I can share the poll results. You now see the poll results that I just shared out with you. So I'm going to keep going. It's what's happening. So, and then this is just a little picture that I put in here. So I can also, as the teacher, awesome. We need to keep those snacks going. So I can also, this when I click this before, it stops my screen share. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to click this just in case it messed something up with our recording for the screen share. I don't want like my double chin being filmed over the computer here. But so there's this little blue bar at the bottom for me as the teacher. So let's say we're in class and we're talking about something. This does not need to be a linear presentation here. I can expand that and then look at mine as the teacher up here on the board. I can choose any slide. So if I need to go back a couple slides, I just drag, drop, or push that share button. Boom, now look at yours. We're back to that slide. Okay, so this makes it awesome for you as the teacher. I don't have to sit here and you don't see me clicking through a bunch of stuff. I just open up my little slide deck down here, and I can go through and find it. And then push it out to you. So now we go back to where we were. Like I said, what if you already have everything in Google Slides? Yes.
Can you give me the context in which you use this? I mean, I think it's cool, but I like.
Yeah. So like instead of just having like a sit and get where you've got a PowerPoint and you're giving kids the PowerPoint, you're going through your lecture, or even if you're just having a discussion, because we'll see, I'll show you all of it. We're gonna actually go through and you'll do like that poll you just did. There's other assessment types that you can embed in here. So you'll see those, so you can have more of like you can collect that formative assessment as you're going through instead of just like show of hands, you know, show me what's the answer. Or if you wanted to do that, maybe it's not a Kahoot where you're sitting there and it's like a big review session. You're just trying to gauge along the way as you go, right? I mean, true formative assessment. So you are going to embed those, either a poll, you can actually embed a quiz, open-ended, multiple choice questions right in here and gauge that information right back. You could also do it, you know, more as a discussion. So maybe you just want a couple of like thought-provoking slides on here and you're just going to have more of a discussion with the kids. So you're going to use it that way. You're going to just a typical lecture type presentation where normally you might use a PowerPoint or Google Slides. Now the kids can actually follow along right with you. Now if it was a Google slide or even a PowerPoint, now that you guys have Schoology, you could share that out with the kids and they could open it. But have you guys ever been in a situation where the kid jumps ahead and they're asking questions about, and you're like, whoa, hold on, we're not there yet, we're going to get there. You control where they're at with this by pushing out the slide to them. So I control what you guys can't jump around and see stuff that's coming up, and you got to stay on task. And then also, not just obviously for, you know, what it was intended for, to give you an idea of where the kids are at. But it also keeps them engaged throughout the lesson when you include those, like the poll or different types of, which you'll see all of your options with the free version that you can include throughout. You've got to keep them engaged. They've got to stay active here, or else you're going to know. And you'll see a report. It gives you a report at the end of every student's answer, their participation level. So you'll know if they were like off task and not responding to your polls or questions or whatever, because you'll see that. So it's a great way too to give like true class participation grades. Like you get a report right there. So if you already have your stuff in Google Slides, and honestly you can upload a PowerPoint too if stuff is in PowerPoint, and it will convert for you. But if you're doing Google Slides, there's an extension in Chrome that all you have to do is open up your Google Slide, click the extension, and I'll show it to you, and it converts it to a Nearpod format for you.
What about a smart board? Like, you know, smart programs, like.
I will not do the smart file. Now, you could, depending on what it is, like you could take, can you save the smart file as a PDF? You can upload a PDF, and it'll just be images. So I got to tell you, the only thing that I really don't like about Nearpod is, you know how on my Google presentation I always give you guys for happy hours, I've got the live links. So like right now, if this was in Google, you could click that and it's going to take you right to the extension. You can't have links in, at least with the free version of Nearpod, you can't have active links. But Schoology would cater really nicely to that, because you can have the kids following along here. Now we just click over, and if they're going to investigate a website, you would have it embedded in your Schoology course materials, and they click and open it up, which is what I've done for you. You guys can actually now click over to your Schoology tab. And I've got the install Nearpodize. This is what the extension is called for Chrome. And let me demonstrate for you. You can go ahead and start installing it. Just click the link and then the blue Add to Chrome button. And I will just demonstrate it for you. So this is how it works, the extension, to turn any Google Slide presentation that you already have into a Nearpod format. I open up my Google Slide. So this was last week's happy hour. I open it up. Our extensions live up here to the right of the Omnibox, right? We learned that in an happy hour. All I do is click that it's called Nearpodize this. It's what you just installed. And then I can either launch it right away or edit. If you want to embed like that poll question and some of the other questions we'll see in a minute, you want to say edit. So then I just say edit, and it might be slow because I've got like the live hangout on air and the screen share going, so mine's probably going to be slowed down here. But then it'll just ask you to log into Nearpod. Oh, good, I'm already logged in. So it'll take just a second to process, and then you'll see every slide I have is going to be a different little slide in this slide deck here. Like I said, it's taking longer than normal because I've got tons of stuff going on my computer. Here we go. So then here's my presentation. So from here, I can add new slides. I can add the polls, other activity, and stuff from there. And then boom, publish, I'm ready to go. And I'm going to actually walk you through all of that. I'm just trying to give you a quick visual of how fast that extension is and how it works. Yes?
But if we download a PDF like from a smart board, it's going to pull up like this, correct? And then the add slide, we can then add a poll in or a quiz in.
Yeah, so you could say add slide, add content, and then actually let me see here if this is, actually I don't think that's where that is. I think you're going to want to, you can like drag and drop files in here. So you'd want to upload your PDF that way. That Chrome extension isn't going to work. It's only going to work in a Google slide. But that you can do the PDFs that way, and you can do PowerPoints, like upload it if you already have stuff existing in those platforms. All right. So let's click back over to your Nearpod. And for those of you who kind of walked in late, if you go into the Schoology Appy Hour group, okay, I'll get the code for you and come over and help you. But in that group, there's a Nearpod folder. In the second link, you can click the join this Nearpod presentation.
Do you have a code for the Nearpod presentation? Because it'll let me.
Yeah, if you go to nearpod.com, you can, it's right up here, YVIHP. Yeah. And then you just have to enter your name. Then you'll be with us.
So I type this in Google Slide, but then I use the enhancement or extension, what do you call those things again?
That extension.
To do this thing with it, make it around.
And you can also, like, you could just create it straight in Nearpod if you want, like a brand, like if it's a presentation that you don't have created yet, you could build it right in Nearpod. I like it in Google Slides better just because you'll have more options with like formatting of the slides and everything. And then it's also nice for anything that you already have existing. Like you don't have to go back and recreate. You just click the extension, move forward.
Can you go from Nearpod to Google? Like, can you transfer?
No. Yeah, which is another reason why I want it all to live in Google too. Yeah. All right, I'm going to click through our Nearpod just a little bit because this is just basically it's just screenshot showing you what I just pulled up and showed you guys. Did you guys get in yet? Are you in the Nearpod? Okay, awesome. Are you in the Nearpod? Okay. So let's see. The formative assessments. So you guys should, it might take just a second. So what I just do, I decided I wanted to advance a few slides, right? So I went down to my slide deck and pushed it out so I didn't have to sit and click through everyone. So the different types of formative assessments that you get, and we're going to walk through so you can see student end on each one now. With the free version, you can, this is another one of the freemiums, so you can get lots of stuff for free or you can pay and get more. There are open-ended questions. There are polls, which you did at the very beginning. You can have a quiz, which is a set of multiple choice questions. So you can just have them go through a handful. Or a draw it, which is awesome, especially like math, science, any kind of art stuff, any diagramming that they need to do. So there's a draw it feature. I thought that came right next. Okay, then you can also, what I really like, which I kind of did with you guys with the poll, was share student responses. Yep, there you go, the one with the Nearpod at the top, yep. So, you can share any student responses with the entire class immediately, which I love. So, you guys are now, I just pushed out a drawing type of question. So this is what it'll look like for the students. If you're not a math person, you can just kind of scribble. Click your pen tool and scribble. This is where it's super nice. The drawing function is super nice with like a touch screen. So on a phone or a tablet, otherwise some of you are learning with the trackpad, it's not quite as nice, that feature. Yes, there should be an erase. You can like erase the whole page. And then when you're finished, you can just click submit or send, the blue button in the bottom right. And then if you look, after you hit send, where your name is, your drawing will pop in there for me.
How are you getting it to draw?
You gotta put the pen and that on the, if it's not a touch screen, you gotta like click and drag. Yeah, so that's what I mean, like on the touchpad, it's not as friendly. If I was doing it from my iPhone or an iPad or anything with a touch screen, I could just touch right on the screen and it would do it for me. Yes.
So I started drawing, but then the question went away.
Was it at the top?
Yeah.
Down at the top left.
And then send, yeah. And the nice thing, I'll jump back to it after I show you guys this, but the nice thing with Draw 2 is you can add an image to it and then they would draw on top of the image. So like the little example I had was a number line where they had to place things on the number line there. or you can have them actually like write in and label a diagram or something. So that's kind of nice too. But then it makes it really easy. If I want to share a student's response with the whole class, I just click share, and now you guys should all see that. So we could say, look at how this student solved it, and then yada yada, that was a great way to go about it. So that is how you share the drawing type of response.
Do you see everybody? You on your computer see everybody's response? So you
Yeah, I will see everyone, so I would know before I actually shared out what it looked like. So here I just jumped back just so you guys could see, like I uploaded an image behind this response, and then in green is what I did as the student to draw over that image I had already uploaded when I created that question. Just kind of give you an idea of what that could look like. Yeah, here's the screen for the teacher for everyone's response, so I can see. And I just click the one I want to share, I click, and then I hit share. And there's no names associated on the students. So if you are projecting like this and going through it, then they're going to see the name. But remember, you don't even need to use the projector with Nearpod. So you guys as the students wouldn't see the name of who I'm sharing with then. Okay, the next one that we're going to look at is an open-ended type response. So go ahead, and you don't really have, for the sake of time, you can just kind of type some gibberish and hit send, but just so you guys can see what that looks like. You'll notice that I've also added a picture to this question, which is nice. So here's another way, if you're already doing any kind of presentation, lecture, anything, and you want to collect bell work, you can just collect it right in here. Even if it's open-ended, extended response, anything, you can just collect it right here. So you don't have to jump out into another program. You can if you want, but this just kind of helps streamline a little bit. Then you'll see on my screen as the teacher, I'm getting the option to share responses. So here again, I can share, and now you all are going to see, it might take just a second if the internet's lagging a little bit, but then you're all going to see that response on your screen. And then unshare. The next one is the poll. So that's, you guys already did the poll, but I'm just going to send out another one for you. So you can see that. And again, remember, if I'm not projecting as the teacher, they don't see the results as they start coming in. So as you guys are answering, then I can decide if I want to share out the results. Okay, let's talk. Here's what the class thought. Let's talk about this. You can share that out with them. And then the final option that you can embed with the free version for the activity types is a quiz. So you guys see now, ready to take a quiz. And I just got 3 true or false questions on there for you. You can also, if you want, when you set up as the teacher, you can tell it a correct answer or not. It doesn't, you don't have to do that or not. But when you do, then if you see mine up here, it's counting for me the correct and incorrect. As you guys are submitting, and it might be just a hair behind, but I actually see where each of you are as you're going through as the teacher, and I also see each response that you put for each answer. Then for the quiz option, I'm sorry for some of you who aren't finished with it, but I'm going to share. When you share the quiz option, what I'm doing is sharing your individual results back to you. So, okay, how'd you do? Here you go. Now you have your own feedback right there. You know how you did, what you got right, what you got wrong. Then we have reports that you can actually generate. And so I'm going to actually jump out here. So then I can go to reports. And for any of them that I've done multiple times, so if you're doing this with all 4 courses, I would just expand that presentation, and then I have all of them listed right here, like date and time stamp, so it would just help you figure out which core class you did when. And we can open that up. And right here, I get my summary version just of overall. Here's that participation over here. So I can see which students were not participating in those embedded activities. And it tells me right there, right on my summary page. I can go through each of the, for every activity type that you put in, it'll give you a tab for that activity type. So you can actually go right there, like back to the quiz, and I can see all of everybody's answers here. So here's this question, here's what everybody answered, so on and so forth. All my open-ended responses right here, so on and so forth. Downloads. Here's the, actually it might not really matter that much. In the free version, you can only download the results as a PDF. So if you wanted to download it as a CSV to import grades or anything, you'd have to get the paid version. But it's an Excel file, basically, yeah. But so PDF you can download, so you can save and always go back. And that is really kind of the meat and potatoes of Nearpod. Again, you can't, the only thing I don't like is that you can't have active hyperlinks on the slide. However, if you do the paid version, you can like actually share out web pages and web content and different things. And they do have school licensing. So, I mean, kind of talk to people, try out the free version for a little bit. If kind of across the board, everybody's like, this is an awesome tool, we want the extra features, let's see what we can do for you. Let's talk to Lori and see what we can do so that you guys aren't footing the bill out of your own pockets if it is going to be kind of a widely used thing. But try out the free version for a while. See how you like it. But so now I'll actually walk you through, I just wanted you to kind of see the student side of it as we walk through. But so now you guys can close out that tab for like following along as a student if you want. And go to nearpod.com to create a free account. And that is for you as the teacher. You guys saw as a student, to join as a student, you didn't need an account. So your kids will not need an account for this. They just go and enter that code to join. As the teacher, you will need a free account. And these account credentials, your Nearpod account credentials, are what you will need to use to log in to that Nearpodize this extension for Chrome when it asks you. So if you don't have anything in Google Slides and you're not going to use that, then don't worry about installing it. But if you have presentations in Google Slides that you do want to convert, that'll be the fastest way for you for sure. Windy in here. So I'm going to kind of keep walking through like how to edit and everything. I will backtrack and kind of go over it or answer questions though, if you need me to, for those of you who are still kind of setting up your account. But when you go to create a new presentation, so this is the one that I just did right when I was showing you the extension in my Google slide, and I use Nearpodize this extension to convert it, and then it brings me to this page. You can drag and drop to rearrange any of these slides. You just drag them where you want them. If I go to add slide, I can go, my first option is add content. Right down here, you will see that you have a couple of options. A slideshow would be like a series of images, and the kids actually click through their own slideshow. So like that little piece of the Nearpod, you wouldn't have control of them going through. Like if you had 5 images for them to go through, they would click through their own 5. You can add audio and video, and then you can add the slide here. And then you can just click text, add your image, whatever you want right here. So that would be to actually create the slide from in Nearpod. To add your activities, so those assessments, when you click add material, then you go to add activity. And then here you have your free options right here. So I'll just use, we'll just select the open-ended one right here. So here's where I can put my question. You'll notice it's not a true.
To the office, please. Lucas Hastings.
It's not our little FX. It's not really like a true equation editor, if there's any math teachers in here. But you have a couple of options that you can use, like a square root or something. So you have a couple options there. And then if you wanted to add an image to it, right here to the right is where, like on the one you did for me, it had an image. That's where you could add an image there. And then, so our question, save. It will put that at the very end of your slide deck. But like I said, you can drag. My computer's been through too much today. Sorry, it's like freezing on me. But then you could drag that activity anywhere inside of your, like if you converted Google Slides or upload the PDF, you could drag that anywhere within there. There we go. And it's basically the same thing for any of those activity types. Biggest thing that you need to know to do it with students after you kind of get everything in here and set up, red publish button down at the bottom. You have to publish it before you'll be able to do it with students. If you ever want to go back in and edit, you have to republish when you're finished. So any changes you make, you got to click that publish button. And then to launch a session, that's okay, I'll get to it in just a second. To launch a session of a published Nearpod, you just kind of hover over, and then you choose this live session, and then that's when it gives you the code that you can give kids. You could actually, I mean, I think it's just a short code for them to type in if they go to nearpod.com, but you can actually, this link right here, this link option, this is what I copied and pasted in Schoology for you guys to click and go right to. So you can post that as a class update because it does change every time you go back in and do a new one. So like you couldn't set this up a week beforehand and put this link in there. It would have to be like immediately before you're gonna play it with them. But I mean, or you can just give them this code. They go to nearpod.com like some of you did and enter the code. So that was definitely pretty fast and definitely our most jam-packed Appy hour so far. But it's such a cool tool. I was excited that you guys wanted to see it. And if you want it, we can actually, like, if you want a second session on this one next week, since it's so short, we can do that too. I haven't put a poll up yet on what to do next week, so I can make that an option because I know this was a lot of info in a short time. Yeah.
To upload on the new presentation from the PDF, where would I go to do that?
So you should, okay, let's go to new presentation. Okay, you can actually just drag and drop it. There it is. That image wasn't coming up on mine. So you can actually, so she was asking if I wanted to like import a PDF. New presentation. There we go, now it's showing up. If I scroll down, you can just drag and drop other files right here. So if I had a PowerPoint, I could just drag and drop it from my desktop or file finder right into Nearpod right here. Or my PDF or images or whatever. And it'll add it in here for you. Now I will say when I went through this way, not the extension Nearpodize this from Google Slides, it added it as like just all images, like a media album for me. So you're gonna want to play with that a little bit. I haven't done it from a PowerPoint to Nearpod yet. They also, Brooke already found the public area for Nearpod. So if you, and whenever you're kind of logged in, that home button up in the top left, explore, and that will take you to the public domain. Now, there are, I think most of these, actually I don't want to say that because I don't know which way it goes. There are some that are free, there are some that you have to pay for. There are some that if you pay for, it's a whole bundle of like an entire unit or an entire series of topics. So you can go through and explore and kind of see what's already created out there, if there's any free ones that you could use first to get you started. Questions right now that you guys have? Would you guys like to look at this again next week to spend a little bit more time? All right, I'm seeing some heads nod yes. So I think we can do that for sure. Give you guys a little bit more time, actually get in there and kind of build it a little bit more, because this definitely is one that's not as like quick and easy. I mean, it's pretty easy, but there's a lot to it. So I would hate for you guys to feel like you don't know it well enough and not use it, because it's an awesome tool. Yeah.
I'm trying to Nearpodize it. How long does that typically take?
It shouldn't take that long. If it is like how long it took for mine was a little bit longer than it usually takes for me, to give you an idea. And I've got like a screencast, a Google Hangout on air recording, like all kinds of stuff going on my computer, and it took a while for me. If it is, just refresh the page, and you might have to do it again. But if I ever find like it kind of gets stuck in that loop, I just refresh and do it again, and then it goes fine.
Anytime I click on the Nearpodize extension,
Mm-hmm.
it just keeps loading. It's not really finishing loading up. So just click on this.
You gotta do edit.
Eventually it'll be blue, and then it just sits here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. We'll do this again next week to give you a little bit more time with the edit portion of it. Okay, thanks.
I click anywhere else on the screen, this goes away.
Is it a huge Google slide? That's probably why then. So definitely the bigger it is, the longer that will take.
So we'll continue to upload because this is not running. So like anytime I click anywhere on it, it goes to a different one.
Oh, I'm doing it here. Go to my library. It could be here. Hold on just a second. Absolutely. Thank you.